NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos joins us now to break this all down. So, Danny, we talked about this when this first went down. You're pretty critical here of the district attorney's decisions.
Yeah, first, just as an aside, can we stop with the no one is above the law? It's such a hacky phrase. And is there anybody on the other side saying, no, there are people that are above the law?
Right.
I mean, they may act that way, but nobody actually believes that or says it out loud. Yes, I am critical of the prosecution. And after hearing their interviews yesterday, I'm even more critical because now I know their theories of the case. And I think they have problems. Number one of their theories, when asked, are you going after him as an executive producer or as an actor who pulled the trigger? Their answer, I guess both. How's that going to fly with a jury? Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, they don't even know which theory that they're proceeding with. The other thing they said yesterday is that the issue of how the live round got on the set is a red herring. It's not important to them. Let me try out my closing argument on you two. You tell me what you think. Members of the jury, the prosecution didn't even bother to find out how this live round got on set. It's even possible that this is someone sabotaging the film set. They didn't bother to find out. Do you know why? They don't care. That person is still out there. We don't know who it is, and they don't care. Why? They had tunnel vision from day one. They knew the trophy they wanted, and it was Alec Baldwin. Listen to their interviews. 3 or 4 times they talk about, you fancy pants Hollywood types, you're not above the law. They're evidencing to me that they have a vendetta against Alec Baldwin. Now, did he bring it on himself by giving all these podcasts and interviews and going on air and saying, I've investigated this, and I think there are other people responsible? Yes, that's why people like me say, keep your mouth shut. Don't give interviews. Don't go into that interview room with the camera that you see on the TV shows where everybody talks themselves into jail. Don't talk. He broke that rule. Shame on him. But that shouldn't be the basis of a prosecutorial decision.
So, love it. You're fired up. You can give us a closing argument. Okay, Danny.
How was that closing argument? Did you buy it? You don't buy my closing argument?
Well, I didn't buy it because you're right. I do think the big question is about the live round.
Well, I don't know. I don't have a law degree. Isn't there a period of discovery?
Barely have one.
In which the prosecutors can, by the time they do enter closing arguments, have developed that?
Yes, but they've already given us their preview. They're charging. We know the theory on which they're charging Alec Baldwin. They told it to us, and it will be borne out in their charging documents. And I don't think they're going to vary too much from that. They told, and I know the subsections of the statute they're talking about. There is a permit. I should say this. When using a firearm, there's a permissive subsection that says all you need is ordinary negligence. That's not good for Baldwin. But my argument to that would be, yeah, but this wasn't a firearm. Alec Baldwin didn't believe he was holding a firearm. He believed he was holding something else. Now, look, the other thing to consider, this is New Mexico. It's an open carry state. You're going to have members of the jury who probably know more about firearms than the 3 of us know about firearms. So will they say, if it looks like a gun, even if you're on a film set, and it's a futuristic ray gun, a laser gun, you shouldn't even point that at anybody. If it looks at all like a gun, even if it's a block of plastic, never point it at anyone, never pull the trigger. Well, look, if that theory works for the prosecution, then maybe he gets convicted, but I think there are too many holes.
Danny, first of all, I like the Second of all, you mentioned something that I think is what a lot of people at home are wondering if they're kind of looking at the details and don't have a law degree, like we actually don't and you totally do, which is what you mentioned about being charged as a producer or an actor. What you just said right now about if it's plastic or whatever, that's him as an actor on set. I'm holding what I think is a prop. I've done this many times before. I'm an actor. It's my job. I know what I'm supposed to do. As a producer, the question is, how did the live round get on set? What were the safety conditions like on set? But if they were just focused on the producer aspect, would there have been more people that should have been charged?
Yes, and that's a great point because you have a chain of command. If your argument is, and I'm not sure this is true, I think the defense can fight this. If your argument is that Alec Baldwin was the king of this production, that he was the guy who oversaw everything, maybe you have a theory there, but then why not charge people under him in the chain of command? Well, the answer would be, look, that's why you hire an armorer. Yeah, is she young? Is she inexperienced? Yes, but you rely on the professionals that you hire in order to make sure they do their job. Now, is that a convincing argument to 100% of the people that you pitch it to? No, but it only needs to be convincing to 1 or 2 on that jury. That's my point here. And again, in the interviews, they talked about probable cause. That is not the standard that prosecutors should use when deciding to bring charges. Probable cause just gets you to a trial. They should believe they can prove their case to beyond a reasonable doubt. See up here, beyond a reasonable doubt, not just probable cause, which is more likely than not. That is their ethical duty. They must believe they can prove the case.
We still have that outstanding question of Alec Baldwin saying he never pulled the trigger, claiming that the gun misfired, and then the district attorney telling Miguel Almaguer, there's no way, we've done forensic testing on this weapon, there's no way it could have misfired.
2 points to that. Number one, I'm not so sure that hurts Alec Baldwin that much because he still has the fallback argument of, okay, so I did pull the trigger. I still believe this was a cold gun. Part two is this will be a battle of the experts. And I believe, I could be wrong, I'm not a firearms expert, but I believe they will be able to find at least one firearms expert that will say, with these older model single action revolvers, it is theoretically possible if the hammer's making contact with the firing pin that it could go off if it's jostled. That's why they have a thing called the cowboy load. And that was when in the old days they would leave one of the chambers empty because they knew the firing pin would be resting there and that could cause an unintentional discharge. If they find one expert to say that, they've created reasonable doubt in my mind.
Danny Cevallos.
But I'm a defense attorney. I'm biased. So
I'd like to see you in there on this one. You're fired up. I like it.
I am fired up about this one, yes. Now, the Idaho stabbing case, that's one I would recommend go plead guilty quickly. This one, take to trial.
Danny Cevallos, as always, thank you. We appreciate you.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Follow today's top stories and breaking news by downloading the NBC News app.